right, you guys, thanks and welcome back to the podcast Modern Marketing with Lori Irvin. I am here today with Natalie from Rinkside Mom, and I'm excited to dive it into an entirely different conversation today. When I started out this podcast, I knew I wanted to bring Natalie on the podcast because I've been following her journey since the very, very beginning. We are hockey moms and connected through that, which every single hockey mom or even sports mom, I think, can relate to. And Natalie has built a brand specifically for hockey moms. So, can you just take a couple minutes to like introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about, how you got started with Ringside Moms and what it's all about?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for having me, Lori. I
Oh,
am
I'm
really
so happy you're
excited.
here. I know this
I
is going to
know.
be just such a good, easy conversation because it always is when we're chatting.
Yeah, it's true. And it's so cool that we kind of know each other from before business side.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so Ringside Mom, I started it back in the fall. I think a little about me is that I'm a mom to three. My oldest plays hockey in Guelph, and then my next is my daughter who just started doing first shift. She's like dipping her toe into hockey, and then my youngest is a boy who's thinks he's on the hockey team. So hockey is definitely a part of our life. And my husband played hockey in college. And over in Europe for a while, he plays and supports like our association locally. So hockey
Mhm.
is definitely a huge part of our life. It was always going to be. I didn't grow up playing hockey, but I think that I've really found such a special space at this time in my life with hockey. So yeah, so Ringside Mom kind of came honestly from such a genuine place. I think that my kids getting involved so much in hockey now, being adult, it's so hard to kind of find your village and find your time when you're a busy mom. Sports and activities is really where you spend the most time with your friends. So to find like a village and friends in that space has been so special. And that's kind of how it started. So the idea of Ringside Mom is just the moms behind the glass. So it's the moms that do everything for their kids on and off the ice, in and out of the rink. We're just doing it all the time. And there's so many of us. And it's something that, yeah, it's really grown organically because there are so many of us, which is such a great feeling when you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm doing everything. Am I the only one? So, yeah, that's Ringside Mom.
Totally. I think over the years, and I'm sure you'll get this too, but you'll also get this more as your younger ones move into it. Like I have people's horrified faces when I talk about our hockey schedule and just like they're like, that must be awful. Like it's so much, it's all consuming. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not. Like you have to like almost embrace it. And then once you do, it's just a part of your life and you can't imagine your life without it. And you're right, it's like that special community. And
Mhm.
there is truly nothing like a rinkside mom because that rinkside mom cheers for your kid the same way they're cheering for their kids. That rinkside mom, like she has Tylenol when you need it. She like sends you flowers when like you're going through something. Like there's just nothing that is, I don't know, like for me, it's like that connection piece that I cannot imagine my life without. And I think that that's what you've really tapped into with this business because, and I don't know if you really truly meant to start it as a business or a connection of a community, right? So tell us a little bit about that because I think what's different about what you're building is your brand really started by connecting online and creating content that other people shared, connected to, and almost made their own. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think some of my background too in marketing, I've worked for corporate for a long time. I think I've worked for businesses and brands where I really am excited about them, but I didn't necessarily connect with them. And I
Mhm.
think when I started Ringside Mom, I really wrote from like such a feeling. It's something that as soon as I started sharing how I felt, the nod that you're doing now, I get all the time. And I think that's what happens on social. It's like when someone shares it, you realize how many of you are like nodding at the same thing, how many of you smile at the
Well,
same
in my
thing.
mom group chat yesterday, someone shared one of your posts, and I was
Oh,
like, that's exactly it, right? You
yeah.
have tapped into how every single one of us is feeling.
Yeah, because I mean, I say this when I attend tournaments. and usually the way I describe it is hockey moms love being hockey moms. Like there's nothing wrong with it. There's so much joy that it brings me and my family. And I think when you tap into like the feelings that we have as moms and as women and as people that do so much for our families, we really all do feel the same. And so it's been such so special to see when people are sharing it and commenting. It really has stretched all throughout the US. It's in Europe. We ship there now. There's so many people, and it doesn't matter what age or stage your player or child is at. You all feel it in the moment that you're at, which I really love about it too.
Me too. So just because you know, I want everybody to go check you out online afterwards, but like your platform has really been Instagram, right? With
Correct.
creating very shareable, very relatable content. You've done a lot of collaborations, which have also built your following. And then tell us a little bit about how you're monetizing that and what it is you're selling.
Yeah, so I think the way the brand was really started was I wanted it to be a community. I think when you feel connected to something, it's so much easier to not necessarily buy in, but feel like you want to be part of it. And I think that what happened was the community was created, and then the way of feeling part of it is how I branched out on my products. We
Mhm.
started with hats, we moved into more apparel. We have some exciting new pieces coming. But I think the idea that I've always made it seem is the smile that you feel when you read a post and you're like, oh, that's me, is the same feeling you get when you wear a Rinkside Mom hat and you see somebody else wearing it in a rink. It's the coolest feeling. It happens often when I'm at
And
tournaments
the kids
because,
have this, right? Like we
yeah,
have seen the things that have gone viral for the kids. And
it's
you know
true.
what? It is our turn.
Yeah, it's so true. It's like the smile you get when you're like, oh my gosh, I know exactly how you feel when you're packing the car. I know how you feel when you're making sure the bags are there and everything's going on because you see them kind of like wearing that title. I always kind of attribute it to like a Jeep wave. My friends have Jeeps, and you see when people are riding Jeeps and they kind of like do one of
So do
these on the
I.
steering
I have a
wheel.
Wrangler too.
Oh, you do? Okay, so
I
you
do.
definitely get it. And it's that feeling, but it's in a rink when you see someone wearing Ringside Mom. So that brand and that connection and that village feeling is essentially attributed to when you're wearing the label and the name Ringside Mom.
I love it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
basically you're creating apparel right now. And
correct.
that's how you're monetizing your brand.
Correct.
And what have you learned through going through this process? Because I have to imagine there have been bumps in terms of
Yes.
apparel and then transitioning to selling it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I didn't realize because it's all happened very organically. Hats
Mhm,
were a very easy place to start because they are one size fits all, which
mhm,
is a generic term, but I mean, when I got more into the specifics, is still unique to who they are. So some people have different head shapes, they have different styles. So one hat fits all really means that there's like different styles of hats to make sure it's very inclusive. I think the idea of Ringside Mom is that everyone's there together.
mhm,
And so I've really tried to make sure there's like a little piece for everyone. I think outside of that, the brand is really called Ringside Mom and Co. And the
mhm,
and Co is really like the community around the moms and the players as well. So I get a lot of comments about like, what about dads? What about this? All of our apparel is unisex size, but there's definitely a nod and a forward facing for Ringside Mom.
mhm,
I think learning about shipping times and quality, and I always say my return policy is that like I really want moms to love it. We do so much for our kids. We don't buy that much for ourselves. If you
mhm,
don't love it, I want you to. So return it, we'll find something else. If not, like sharing and being part of the community is still so supportive to a small business. I don't want people to always feel like you have to buy something. I want you to want it. So I
mhm.
think that's really where like the heart of all of my pieces come from too.
I love that. When we were chatting before, you talked about one of the defining features of your brand is that you really have built a very specific niche, and that has led to a lot of the success of Ringside Mom and Moms. And I think when we're building, we have this tendency to think, well, I can do this for X, Y, Z, and we think that by expanding that we'll actually be more successful. But I feel like you've seen the like you're proof that the opposite is true. So can you chat about that a little bit?
Yeah, I read something on Instagram that was saying you can either go an inch deep and a mile wide, or an inch wide and a mile deep. And I
Mhm.
think what I've really tried to do is be so specific in who that ringside mom is. It's been natural for me because it is me. And I think that's why so many people resonate with it, because I am not trying to be everything else. I've got lots of feedback, which I totally appreciate, on different sports and what about Ringside dad and Nana and sister and all these things? And I do really want to include them. And that's where the and co comes from. But the
Mhm.
heart of the brand, which I really lean into as much as I can, is it's about the Ringside mom. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think diving deep into that, it means like the style, the colors, the fit of things is always with like a ringside mom in mind. And that's what's really made people feel like I get you because I am you, and I think that's where it
Yeah.
comes
And you
from.
really truly do get them because you are them.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you create, like, what's your advice for someone? I think we're all trying to get that viral content. We're all trying to get that relatable content. Like, if you were talking to someone who wanted to build a brand that was similar to you, can you speak
Mhm.
to like the heart behind your content and how you create it?
Yeah, I think, I would say I definitely don't have a strategic or traditional view on how I find content. I think all of us are on social media all the time. I think that little feeling in your gut when you read a post and you're like, oh, like, and you feel it. I look at those and say, how can I make that for a ringside mom? There's
Mhm.
so much content out there and there's so much that make you really feel. But if you find a way to make it about your brand, whether
Mhm.
it's the language or it's a moment, I think I really lean into the moments of being ringside mom, and that's where we all kind of feel it. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily showing my products all the time. It's not always showing things that you can see yourself, but it's more so that feeling when you read it and you feel it. And I think that's, people get stuck on maybe like the specific words or making sure their branding's
Or
there or their
even making
products.
sure that they're selling all the time, which is not
Yes.
like, I feel like you do a great job of creating that brand through your grid and selling inside your stories where you're truly connecting with your community and showing what it is you have to offer.
Yeah,
And
thank
I'm
you. I think
assuming there's strategy behind that.
Yeah, I think the other piece for me too is, honestly, I try not to overthink them. I think that there's so much like beautiful photography and content out there. I definitely have some of that too, and I'm really grateful for some a local photographer that's really helped me with that. But I think there's something about just like we're all the same, and we
Yeah.
just see it and
And
we
then it
feel
doesn't
it.
need to be perfect and polished. It just
It
needs to
doesn't.
connect.
It doesn't. You know, I had a post a while ago where I had a spelling error and I was cringing at it for myself. And really, I looked at it and I turned it around and turned it into like, if you find the spelling mistake, I will give you 15% off, because I'm a human, you're a human. If you find it, if you want that like offer, then I'm happy to give it to you, because
Yeah.
like I
And
am
then
who I
it just
am.
becomes a like, yeah, it just becomes a moment of everyone, mom is like, oh, right?
I
Like we've
know.
all had that.
Yes, we've all forgotten something at home. We've all been like, "Oh, I like should have reached out to this person this time." Like we're all in it. So, we do the best we
Totally.
can.
100%. One of the ways that you've really grown your account with very good content, but you've also grown your account through strategic collaborations. So how did you set those up? What do you look for when you're going to do a collaboration? Like, talk to me about that.
Yeah, I think from the very beginning, and just with some of my marketing background, I know that there's a lot of ways that you can monetize on Instagram and use ads. And I think there's really a time and a place, and that's helpful. I think as I talk about going a mile deep in my core, it's really about, I would rather my community grow from people that are specifically ours. So I have turned a lot of my collaborations, once a month, I do a giveaway. And it's
Mhm.
really a way to grow it between the moms themselves, which I think is really special and feels so much more genuine in the community
Mhm.
that I have. I
Mhm.
look at things that, as a mom, that I want or I need or I would never give myself. I think the idea that we did a giveaway where it was like, we buy gear for our kids all the time. We all know how much skates cost. We are all wearing running shoes that are old or dirty or don't fit.
Right.
It seems like the smallest thing. And I did a giveaway where I gave $150 gift card for new sneakers and $150 to Knix, which is an amazing
Mhm.
women's first
Wearing them right
brand.
now.
Exactly, so am I. And I think that that idea, like, we can all afford our a new bra, but for some
Mhm.
reason we put our kids first, and there's something special about being like, I could win this, and there's so many moms. The amount of engagement I got on that post, and it was $300 that I would have used on an Instagram ad, but instead I got engagement and reach that far surpassed any kind of ad spend because it was so genuine. It was so
Mhm.
authentic. It was so many of us being like, "Oh my gosh, me too." And
Mhm.
that's what I think gets lost sometimes in a strategy for a business. You miss the like, "Me too. I'm like you. I see that," because you get so deep into metrics
Yeah.
and
And
you
what's
lose.
gonna you're really just you're looking for the outcome and you forget the heart behind it.
Yeah, and I think that there's so many brands that like have they are so thoughtful and they are there's a reason why people love you. And I feel like when you try to think too big, you forget that like the people that are closest to you are the ones that really matter. And I think that's what I really try to do on my community page.
I love that. Do you ever do collaborations with other accounts or companies where they're also sharing your content? Yes, as a way to build?
Yeah, I think that as I talk about like really being true to the brand, there's lots of small businesses out there. I love finding people to like support. I think that that's part of like the village too. Like let's lift each other up as much as we can. I think you just need to have a lens on like, is it right for your business? Is it right
Mhm.
for your audience? I think that
Mhm.
there's lots of like tournaments and there's lots of hockey moms and I really it's something that's so important to me being like, are you a ringside mom? Do you have ringside moms in your business? It doesn't necessarily have to be a hockey business either. It's like, are you
No, but it
seeing
has to have that audience.
yes, and I think that as soon as I think about it for like my own perspective or like my teen moms being like, okay, would they love this? Like, does this make sense to them? Is this where they're at in their life or their needs or whatever? Then it's something that I'm very quick to like outreach. I am 100% like throw the spaghetti at the wall. You never know. I really try to lean into like social is so hard, but like we're all people. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people just want to be asked. And just
Yes.
like we want to be asked. I love when somebody
Totally. I,
asks
I
me for
always used to
something.
say to people, or I always say to people, like, no one's like feelings are hurt by like a
No,
request or an ask. In fact, a lot of the
no,
times it's a really nice compliment, even if it doesn't work out.
100%. I have a lot of requests for charity donations or somebody trying to give back. I literally, as much as I can, I always say yes. I think that the community is really about would a mom say yes to somebody putting themselves out there and asking for a hat for a donation? I'm like, yes, they would. So I will say yes. And I think that's something that is really important to me too, making sure that the moms that outreach, I've been there too. So like if you're trying, if it means enough to you that you're outreaching, then I will almost always say yes. So
I love that. Okay, I have one last question for you. If someone's listening to this and they like are trying to start their baby brand right from the very beginning, what advice would you give them?
oh my gosh, that's so hard.
Right? I know it's hard because there's probably a million things, and feel free to give
There's
us a
probably a
few.
million things. I think that honestly, like as moms, as women, I think you really need to trust your gut. I think we tell our kids to trust our gut. I think you know in your gut when something is you or it's right. Being nervous is not the same as a gut feeling saying it's not right. Nervous
Mhm.
is sometimes a mix of excitement, and I think that you should always go after the excitement. But I think that if your gut's telling you or you're thinking about something more than once, it's probably not the right move. And it's okay to say no. I
Mhm.
think if you're being true to your brand and you're true to the growth that you want, you should just try it.
There is
Just
that
try it.
feeling, right? When you know something's right, you get that feeling, that move forward feeling. And when you strategically know something is right, but there's something in you, it's almost like for me, it's almost like this wall that I can't
Yeah.
get by. And I'm
Or
like,
you're
I
avoiding
know that
it.
I should do this, but like there's just something stopping me, and you have to trust that feeling.
100%. I mean, I just saw a post this morning and I was like, wait, I love that. And I got so excited. And I was like, yes, people are going to love this too. And like
And
that
the
feeling is
best
the best.
content, it takes you 2 seconds to create. I
It
wrote a post
does.
on like extra ice yesterday, and it was something like, um, try out, like if you have family parents and tryouts, like check on them. They're not okay. And like it got more follows and more views than anything else. And it legit took me like 3 seconds, but it was so
Yes.
on point, right? So like that's
Yeah.
the
And you
best kind
smiled
of
and you're like,
content.
oh my God, yes. Then
Yeah. And
just
I'm like,
when
this
you
is
say,
me
oh
right
my
now.
gosh, yes, you should do it. That's what I think for
Exactly.
people. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that really good content sometimes should be the content that comes easy, right? Because the content isn't necessarily what's making you money. So like spending hours and hours on a piece of content isn't going to pay you back.
It's true. I mean, I think there's so many ways to do it. I think the other thing too is if it doesn't work, try it again. Like
Yeah.
I
Because there's
had
so many different circumstances
so
to
many.
social media that like it doesn't, sometimes it's not you, it's them.
Yeah, and it's the time of day or it's the weather or like there's so many factors that go into why somebody really loves something, which is also why just go back to your gut. Like when you really love something, I guarantee you somebody will really love it too. And if you're just doing
Oh,
something
yeah.
to do it, people feel that too and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is like not you." So
Feels
many trends
disingenuous.
there's so many trends out there, like any brand could try to make themselves do every single one, but you know the ones that it really makes sense for.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I love that. So what's next for Rinkside Mums?
Well, we
Moms.
are doing lots of tournaments right now, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah. So is that just
We
is that a way to both sell and grow the brand, like the in-person tournament?
Yeah, I think the feeling when moms come up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I follow you on Instagram," or "Oh, I've
Mhm.
seen your
Like
stuff,"
it's
or
interesting because a lot of people would have started there, but what I like is that probably when people arrive at that arena, a lot of them already know you.
yeah, it's actually surprising how it happens. As a entrepreneur, it's like the best feeling to be honest with you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's pretty exciting. I think that, yeah, because of the shareability of social media now, it's definitely great to grow that community and then be able to see people. I'm also now in 3 retail locations, which is really
You are.
exciting.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm in a training facility called High Speed Hockey in Newmarket. I just merchandised our pieces in the hockey hub in Aurelia, which is exciting.
Mhm.
And there's one in Saskatoon that I've been working with and just trying to nail that down. But the idea of businesses also seeing the value of recognizing moms. Obviously, we're coming up to Mother's Day, but there's something really special about saying, like, we know that moms are the ones in here shopping. They're looking at Howie's and Bauer and all these hockey brands, but there's nothing for moms. And when it's
Mhm.
there, to see the excitement from them too is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty excited about that and growing that retail space and trying to find a way to really reach moms in different locations. I'm working on some ideas, but hockey moms have so much on the go. There's so many expenses that come to hockey, and finding a way to really let moms grow the village authentically the way I have is something that is really exciting to me and something that I'm looking forward to growing.
That sounds intriguing.
Yeah,
Okay, where
there you
can
go.
we find you? What's your website and where are you
Yep.
on Instagram?
Awesome. On Instagram, we're Rinkside Mom Co. You
Mhm.
can find us there, and our website is rinksidemomco.com.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Yeah,
Always
it
a
was great to see
pleasure.
you. I know, I loved it. Thank you, Lori. I think
Anytime.
it's great what you're doing for small businesses, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. It's one of those things exactly where I'm like, I have no idea where this will lead through this podcast, but it feels right.
Love it. Awesome.